All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are grabbing our tools, popping the hood, and we're going to solve one of the most common trouble codes out there, P0108. So if that check engine light is staring you in the face, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get this thing figured out. So there it is, that dreaded check engine light. You plug in your scanner, and it spits out P0108. Your first thought might be, oh no, what now? But trust me, this isn't nearly as intimidating as it sounds. We are going to walk through every single step, from what this code means to how to nail the fix.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to decode what this error is even talking about. Then, we'll connect the code to the weird things you might be feeling when you drive. After that, we'll hunt down the usual suspects, follow a super clear diagnostic playbook, and finally, we'll close the case with the right repair. Okay, first things first. Let's translate this mechanic speak into plain English. What is your car's computer actually trying to scream at you when it flashes a P0108 code? So, in a nutshell, P0108 means your engine's main computer, the PCM, is getting a voltage signal from the manifold absolute pressure sensor, or MAP sensor, that's just stuck on high. It's like a volume knob that's been cranked to 10 and now it's broken. The computer is smart enough to know this reading is impossible, so it flips on the check engine light to get your attention. Well, what's this sensor even for? Basically, it measures air density, which is just a fancy way of saying how thick the air is. Think about it, right? The air at sea level is way denser than the air on top of a mountain. The MAP sensor is the little guy that tells the computer this critical piece of info so it can mix the perfect amount of fuel with the air. It's what keeps your engine running smoothly whether you're at the beach or in the mountains. And just a quick heads up here. On some cars, the MAP sensor and the barometric pressure sensor are two totally separate parts. On others, they're built into one single unit. So to save yourself a massive headache, do yourself a favor, find a sensor location diagram for your exact car. Seriously, it'll be your best friend in this whole process. Okay, now let's bridge the gap between that technical code and what you're actually experiencing from the driver's seat. When the computer gets that bogus high voltage signal, how does it make your car act up?
Because the computer thinks there's way more air pressure than there really is, it dumps way too much fuel into the engine, and that messes everything up. You'll feel it for sure. The engine might hesitate or stumble when you hit the gas, the idle could get all rough and choppy, and it might be a real pain to get started. Oh, and you'll definitely notice you're visiting the gas station a lot more often. It can even get bad enough to make the engine stall out completely.
All right, we know the what and we know the why. Now it's time to play detective. Let's line up the usual suspects that caused this P0108 code to show up.
If you were a betting person, where would you put your money? Well, the data's pretty clear. More often than not, the MAP sensor itself has just given up the ghost. It's the #1 culprit by a long shot. After that, we start looking at problems in the wiring or even a simple vacuum leak.
So let's break down this lineup. Suspect number 1, the sensor itself. It's just failed. Suspect 2, a wiring problem. Specifically, the wire that sends the signal back to the computer might be touching a power wire somewhere, causing that constant high voltage. Then you've got vacuum leaks, a cracked rubber hose somewhere. And then there are the long shots, like a super gunked up throttle body, a clogged air filter or catalytic converter, and very, very rarely, the main computer itself could be on the fritz.
And now we get to the fun part, the actual diagnosis. This is our playbook. It's a clear step-by-step guide that's going to help us nail down the exact cause. And this, my friends, is how you save some serious cash instead of just throwing parts at the problem, hoping something sticks.
We're going to start simple and work our way up. A really good visual inspection is always step 1. Then we'll give the throttle body a quick peek. After that, we'll break out the tools, a scan tool to see what the computer is seeing, and a multimeter to check out the electrical circuit itself.
Okay, step 1. And honestly, it's the most important. Just use your eyes. Pop the hood and get a good look at that MAP sensor and everything around it. Are there any vacuum hoses that look cracked or feel brittle? Are they disconnected? Follow the wires from the sensor. Do you see anywhere they look like they've been rubbing or melting? Pull the connector off. Is it full of green gunk? You'd be amazed how often the fix is staring you right in the face.
If the visual inspection turns up nothing, it's time to grab your scan tool. Plug it in and pull up the live data, specifically for the MAP sensor voltage. Now here's the key test. With the key on, but the engine off, that voltage should be high, somewhere around 4 or 5 volts. That's just it reading the air pressure in the room. But as soon as you start the engine, that voltage should take a nosedive. If it just sits there, stuck high, bingo. You've just confirmed the problem the computer is complaining about.
So to know for sure if it's the sensor or the wiring, we need a trusty multimeter. This is the test that tells you if the circuit is healthy. So unplug the sensor and turn the key on. You're going to check the pins on the connector. You should find one with a steady 5 volts. That's the reference signal. You should find another that has a solid connection to ground. Now here's the kicker. Check the pin for the signal wire. It should read 0. If you see any voltage there, you found it. That's a short in the wiring harness.
So, once you've gone through the diagnosis and you found your culprit, it's time for the satisfying part, applying the right fix. This is where all that detective work really pays off.
And you know, the beautiful thing about proper diagnosis is that it points you right to the solution. There's no guesswork. If you found a frayed wire, you repair the wire. If all your tests pointed to a bad sensor, well, you replace the sensor. Found a cracked vacuum hose, that's your fix right there. It really is that straightforward once you know the cause. Now, listen up, because this is a step you absolutely cannot skip. After you've done your repair, whatever it was, you have to grab that scan tool again and clear the code from the computer's memory. Then, you need to take the car for a good, solid test drive to make sure that light stays off and all those performance problems are gone. That's how you confirm you actually fixed it.
And there you have it, the P0108 code, demystified and defeated. By following a logical plan, you've saved yourself a ton of time, money, and frustration. You've just armed yourself with some serious knowledge. So the only question left is, what are you going to fix next? Thanks for tuning in.